get started. We are back with the online events, and today we go through. We have two special guests. So we have Annabelle Leon, digital leader buyer here in Spain, and also Marta Sole, which is the associate director of digital health for EMENA for Accord Healthcare. They're both actually one of our alumni. So I think Annabelle joined the first edition of the DTx the Excellence Program, and Marta the second one. So I'm very happy to have you here, because we want to listen how now you actually apply everything that we have learned during this program with us. So the idea is today actually is to to open and discuss how DTx and pharma they meet and they collaborate, they partner, and so on. And the idea is to also share it. Can you go back, Armando, please? I haven't started yet. So the idea is to see how maybe a big pharma that is more advanced, maybe we also with ground for apps like Bayer, does work at corporate and maybe also at the local level, and also with Marta, with Accord, that is maybe not as big. I know it's not as big. This maybe it's a mid-sized pharma, right? So the idea is to go through that. But what's most important for us, and I think we are now 44 participants, is that this is not a panel where we interview these two people, but we are completely open, and that's how we normally work. That everybody can ask, and ask question away. We have a few people that like to ask questions. I think Mohamed is there, Pablo as well, Jambi as well. I know you're there, and you love to ask questions away or share your point of view. So this is how we normally work. So let's maybe get started in that sense. So Marta and Annabelle, welcome. I just want to do a quick intro to the topic. So we know that I was just reading this morning, like today again, what is the growth expected for digital therapeutics in the next years, and there are several data, but all of them are let's say above double digits. So it means that a compound annual growth rate for digital therapeutics, I read one that was 26% and the other was 31%. So it's in any case, it's a big number. And we start now with about 2.3 billion investments, in this type of solutions. And by 2030, we should go up to 35. I also have seen number of 67. This is a huge numbers, but in any case, the idea is that you see how we can multiply these the investments, and the interest it's huge in this type of solutions. So this is one thing that I want to share. The second one is that I think that by the nature of it, pharma companies would definitely jump on it. And Armando, if you can go to the next slide, we actually can get some. This is just an idea of how the pharma and DTx partnership are flourishing. You can see that there are, like, from 2022. This is just a few examples, and you see that how this is growing more and more and more. That say pharma needs to discover and to give a service that goes far beyond the pill, and that's something that DTx matches perfectly with that. You can see how Sidekick Health, which is a very good startups from the Nordics, from Iceland actually, could actually partner with Pfizer first with one in one therapeutical area, which is ulcerative colitis, but then he went over with atopic dermatitis array, and now with smoke cessation. So this is it's something that is growing more and more. The numbers are also allowing, the building this type of solutions. We have seen it can go up to 25 millions. So it looks like an app, but there are far more than that. But you can actually see is that these are the smaller pharmaceutical companies like Chiesi, for example. You can see that partners with Kaya Health can also enter this type of this is a game also for smaller pharmaceutical companies, and that's allows it, to see a different perspective from now on. It's not just that who has millions and billions to invest for the next, let's say, next molecule, but also a smaller player are there to stay and to make their own, success story. So this is just an idea, but we can also see big corporations like Boehringer Ingelheim, partnered with Digital Therapeutics with a deal of 500 million, which is a huge thing. So it also depends as well on the type of company collaborations. Armando, can you go to the next one, please? And exactly what this has been shared this week by Sidekick actually, and Gary Monk. Gary Monk actually is going to be the next speaker at our next event next month, and you can see how pharma and digital health, digital therapeutics companies are collaborating, and you can see that it could be a sponsorship or a license of the solutions, but what's mostly working out lately are kind of partnerships. So like pharma brings their knowledge in the disease and also in the in the regulatory pathway and the clinical validation, and the DTx bring on board well also and the commercial side, and then DTx can bring all the agility on a side, but also the tech side. So this is kind of a partnerships that normally take place nowadays, even though pharma wants is sometimes it's really accelerating and buying this type of solution. So we have seen, I think it was Pfizer today with if I'm not wrong, with it just get off my mind now, the company, but it just purchased one company now, and then and we go further, they can build the solution by themselves, like Novo Nordisk is doing, for example, or incubate it, so become like a RESAP. Thanks. That was the one that has been purchased, and we can incubate, so becoming a digital innovation hub. So this is a bit of the intro for this type of for the webinar today, and I think now we want to go and start breaking the ice with Annabelle and Marta. Maybe you can start by introducing yourself for like very briefly, so then we know who you are, and then we can start with the shooting some questions.
Of course, Marta, do you want? Yeah, I will start. Okay. Well, my name is Annabelle Leon. As Lucas said, I am working as digital lead for pharma in Bayer. Okay, but also I am leading the vertical of our Life Hub Barcelona Open Innovation Center, focused in the case of pharma for digital therapeutics. And well, I think that more in this topic is why I am here, Luca. Okay, so no, I don't know if Marta.
Yeah. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Marta Solé. I am working as a digital health lead at Accord Healthcare, which is, as you mentioned, a mid-sized pharmaceutical company. I've been in Accord for the last 5 years, and I've had a number of different roles in the company, because I mean, digital health is quite a new function for us as well. And before that, I was working with startups and doing tech transfer. And yeah, my pleasure to be here today sharing our views. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's get started. Let's get started from the beginning. So from my own experience, what really was hard, is when we introducing this type of solution to management was the strategy. What's the strategy really there? So how is DTx affecting the company's digital health strategy? So this is who wants to start? Who wants to give their own opinion?
I can start. Okay. If we can do it alphabetically ordered, then I will start always. No, just joking. Well, as Marta Solé just mentioned, digital health is quite brand new, and I suppose that's why this is a quite brand new also position in the company, right, Marta? And this is, for example, something that is happening in the pharma industry. These kind of roles are appearing recently in the organization of the pharma companies. And this is also part of the strategy of the organization. Okay, so starting to focus in this kind of solutions. In our case, for example, we have created recently this Life Hub. I mentioned it before. And as I said, in the case of pharma, is fully focused in digital therapeutics with several challenges, okay, but what we are looking for is solutions in digital health or digital therapeutics. And also, you mentioned it before, Grants for Apps is another initiative that now is focused in digital therapeutics, digital health also. So this is part of the strategy of the company, okay? So you will see that they are part of the organization dedicated to this. Also, we are, let me say, approaching digital health with different strategies. And I think you mentioned it also before, with solutions like pill plus pill. So solutions around the pill, like a digital companion of our products, but also we are looking for standalone solutions. Maybe this part is more difficult because of the fragmented market that we have with different countries, different regulations, and different possibilities of business models in any one of them. So a standalone solution is maybe a little bit difficult right now as a solution for a pharma company.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think just adding to that, as I said, no, digital health is quite a new function. So we've had quite a lot of flexibility in defining, what is the roadmap and where we're going. I think, at least in our case, digital health started to be a host of a particular project that we had, that we were developing. And then that's how the department was kind of like born. And we did like kind of write the digital health strategy before we got to know about all these digital therapeutics. And I would say that when the digital therapeutics appeared, it kind of fit very well with the strategy that we had written before. So for us, we really focus on delivering digital health platforms that are supportive to our business channels, which are basically hospital and retail pharmacy, and that are supportive to our specialty brands. So that is something that DTx can accomplish. And then there are two other things that we always look for digital health projects, that is that they can drive value, measurable value for the business. And second, that they improve the patient's well-being. So I think for this, it was pretty clear that digital therapeutics is kind of the way for us to continue our digital health strategy. The fact that Code is launching a number of drugs during the year, and digital therapeutics really mirrors that process in some way. It makes it easier also, like, for us to understand how it can fit. And also, that the fact that there is being that some countries are granting reimbursement, it also gives us a way of monetization, so it makes it easier and to also differentiate what is digital marketing, which is more a channel, to what is digital health. So I think that has been quite helpful as well. So yeah, I would say digital therapeutics is really affecting and being a key part of our digital health strategy.
All right. Thank you both. If anyone wants to ask a question, please write it in the chat, and we'll happy to answer. Actually, Marta or Annabelle will answer, so I don't have any. No, I'm kidding. But definitely, please feel free to open up and ask questions away. I have actually another question, which is before going to the next one. One of the things that I have struggled in the past when I used to work in a pharma company and in the digital health department, actually, was that management has kind of, we were a bit tight in terms of budget and in terms of openness to this type of solutions. Is this something that you experience in your companies nowadays, or not?
I think that in our case was very important, of course, that the management was convinced about what digital health or digital therapeutics could bring to the business, just to start operating. Okay, so I think it was the first part for sure. That's why we got budget to do this Life Hub and so on. And if we are talking related to global, there are even more investment, and you show part of them, like a Sidekick or OneDrop. So yes, it's needed this this buy-in of the top level management. If not, it will be difficult to progress with this kind of initiative. That's sure. Yeah. But no, I have to say that as they were really convinced, we didn't find these kind of barriers at the moment.
But okay, thanks a lot, Marta. You can also answer, and then there are some questions for you already coming out from what actually I wrote down myself before, because it's a very interesting one, which is kind of how do you live in both our Abhishek and Pablo asked similar questions, and you might see them yourself, but it's how do you evaluate the business value added by a digital therapeutic and create the case for a large investment? This is one question, and the second is similar. It says, Marta just mentioned measurable value. What does it mean? Looking at actual product revenues, Pierre will make less than 20 million in the US this year. Most digas are making above 10 million. How do you measure it?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it will depend on a case by case basis, but I mean, just to answer what we were saying before, I think in the case of our court, senior leadership was supportive of the long-term strategy and understand that digital health and digital therapeutics can add value. It will perhaps have a longer return on investment than other products or other lines of the business, but we do realize that. And in our case, we have really started smaller, I would say, by like developing an initial digital health platforms, launching in one market, being that the pilot market, proving that it works, and then replicating that in other markets and making it bigger. And I think with this is going to be the same. So we're not going to start all over the place. We're going to start small. We will need to define a clear case on what market will we launch that, for what spec brand, how will it work, and really write down the case. And if the numbers work out, then we're gonna do it, and we're gonna be given the budget. If not, it's gonna be hard to justify. So I think for us it was important to get the first one right. Now I'm in a position where I think we can start exploring more DTx.
Okay, and I think there is possibly going this. This is I'm still a dreamer, and not just number, but also I think you can also improve, somehow the quality of the service that you provide to patients, because you gather real data in a continuous manner. If there is engagement from the patients, and this is something that you can play at your at your favor at some point. I guess this is also another one. I guess it's also another value that can be played, especially if we think of business models in the future that it's not just selling drugs plus a device, but rather having a platform, right, where there is the full service included into it. So that's what it. And then, sorry, there are a lot of questions coming up. So before we go to the next one, there's another question from Andy that says broad questions. But for pharma, what is considered a successful outcome for the business when partnering with DTx? This is again what Marta was trying to respond, I would say. And
I think that's very relative, right? Because it really depends. Like when we do work on digital health projects, we do define with the countries. Okay, so what is success for you? And what might be success for example, Italy might be different from what is success for the UK, you know. It really depends on the market, our infrastructure, the dynamics. It depends on a number of factors, but I think it's just important to define what it means success as a business for you internally from the start, and then stick to that.
Okay. Alexandra, it's Alessandra Gonzalez ask a question, and Ziba as well. Let us go ahead with the first one we have, and then we go into those other questions. So the question is, what are the main barriers that pharma finds to adopt these new solutions? Annabelle, are you with us, or are you back?
Yes, I am back.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what happened, but I lost the connection for a few, for a moment. Okay, I can start then if you want. Well, I think that related to barriers, there are several, okay? For example, the short-term view and the technology, okay? That is not the normal way of operating in a pharma company, okay? So let me say that this is a mindset change, okay? Working, for example, in agile mode, okay? And not as a traditional project like in the past. And this is a barrier, an internal barrier, let me say. Also, it's difficult to manage expectation. And this is linked to what you were mentioning before related to success. And is defining what are the KPIs, okay? Because depending on the market and depending on the business model, it will be difficult to define. Because if you're, for example, a digital companion, okay, what's the expectation? To sell more? To be supportive to your patient? How do you measure that? Okay, so this is another, I think, barrier to make digital health part of the normal business of the company. Other topic is regulation and market fragmentation. Okay, yeah, we will see even in Spain, but also in the European market. Each country is they are doing different things, reimbursement, DIGA in the case of Germany, but then in UK is another model, regulations are different, and also the pace of regulations are not following technology, and also how these digital therapeutic solutions are advancing. So I think that we will need maybe new regulatory frameworks to be faster, okay, and to really give value to our patients. So of course, then there are other barriers, not exactly directly to the pharma industry, but related to the solutions like adoption and how you will build partnerships. Because we were talking about the different kind of partnerships within the industry. And for example, startups, we could see in some cases acquisitions, in other investment, in other co-creation or commercialization. And well, it's not easy to decide which kind of partnership you will do with a startup. So let me say that maybe these are for me, the main barriers at the moment related to digital therapeutic and the relationship with the pharma industry.
Thank you. I think you mentioned quite a lot. So
yeah.
let's see, Marta, what has to happen.
Sorry, Marta.
Yeah, no, but I think just to elaborate a little bit further, I think what we were saying now about market awareness, I was reading the other day that, you know, like one of the challenges that we have is that doctors to actually prescribe those digital therapeutics, they find themselves usually with quite a lot of solutions. So it's hard for them to know which is the good one to prescribe to their patients, if it's going to be safe in the long term, you know, like all these kind of things. And then you have the patient adoption, no? So we're given for granted that patients will know how to use these digital therapeutics, but that's another challenge. And then more focusing on the challenges that we as pharma company have, I would say that there is in like maybe education is one of the challenges, and expertise. So it's a relatively new area in the business. So there is education and awareness required internally. And although we have quite a lot of experts in regulatory, in medical, in IP, those are very applied to medicines and to the regulatory, clinical, and IP that you need for a digital tool is different from what you need for a medicine. So that's something that teams need to be skilled as well, upskilled. And then I would say the commercialization, no? So sometimes we find we are asking the sales force to market a digital tool the same way that they will market a medicine or a portfolio, and it's not the same. So I think there is also like a gap or like a barrier that we need to overcome. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's pretty much it. Quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot still. Yeah, but that's normal when you are at the beginning. You know, when you do innovation in general, that's are the barriers that you find.
But Marta and myself are here to solve these barriers.
And very good. So now I think the question of Alexandra Gonzalez apply and says hello. What are the big challenges regarding quality regulation? One is this. In the United States, with FDA, it's nowadays easier to get registered as a DTx, but it's not the case in some countries in Europe, like Spain. What is the situation right now in Spain, and what are the next steps? Thank you. I can give an answer if you're stuck. I think nowadays I think there is the company. Yeah, it's the European Union is working on a framework, on a global framework in Europe, so that will be possibly soon rolled out in the rest of the countries in Europe. So it's now DIGA. It's there. Let's say that they take advantage of DIGA and they are making it expanding to the other countries. That's how they are working. So. We are still far behind, let's say, yes, but at least there is, you know, there's a consciousness of that, and there's like a group, a work group that it's on it. So hopefully we will see news soon. Ziba asked, as a small startup, when do you think is the best time to approach pharma for collaboration, or at what point they show openness to DTx? I think the answer is depends, but let's see what
I would say that depends.
Yes.
No, in our case, for example, and as an example, we have a Grants for Apps initiative that it's they have chapters also in the countries, but also the program is from global, and we have just as an example, we have two tracks. The advanced track and the growth track. The growth track is focused in startups that are in an early stage, okay? Maybe with an MVP developed, but that's all, not proved in the market. And in the track, in the advanced track, okay, we are looking for startups with an MVP realized, but also proved in the market, and with some results, outcomes from it. And in that case, what we are looking for is to do partnerships together. And the partnerships are individual depending on its case. In the case of the growth track, that we are offering is a funding and without equity, and co-working space in our headquarters in Berlin, and also the mentoring of our top level management. So it depends on, as you said, Luca. Let me say that we are not saying no because you have just started. No, but maybe the offering will be different. That's all.
Marta?
Yeah, I mean, Accor doesn't have startup acceleration programs or things like that. But I think in our case, it really has to be the right fit. We are quite used to, you know, like work with tailored agreements. We are quite creative in developing partnerships, and we have partner with some startups already, but it really has to be the right fit for both parties. So I don't think it depends that much on the stage, but on the fit in our case.
And then last question. It's with different rules and regulations for different countries and markets, what are some of the strategies to create a universal solution that not only helps the patients and consumers, but also has a profitable business?
So you said, can you repeat? If you have...
Can I repeat? Sure. With different rules and regulations, in different countries and markets, what are some of the strategies to create a universal solution that not only helps the patients or end users, but also has a profitable business?
Okay. So I think on this, we can of course like create a solution for a pilot market and then adapt it and localize it. But I would say localization is definitely not only about translation. There are a lot of other factors that need to be taken into account, like market dynamics, culture, technologies, like different patient journeys, and so on. So I think it's you can take it from the start as a basis, but a degree of customization will be required by each country.
Okay.
And that takes time.
I would say that a part of all that Marta mentioned, if we focus on profitability, at the end, you don't have any other option that do an analysis of each market. Because as we talked before, the situations, the way of monetization will be different in each market. Okay, so you have to do this analysis and all the stakeholders that you have, national health system and so on, just to see what is the best option. Of course, the main thing maybe is that you conceptualize the idea, okay, the platform or the solution, thinking scalability later on, okay? But if we take apart technology and so on, you have to go one by one. There's no option. If you, Juan, if you have the solution, let me know, please.
All right, thank you. And now let's go to the next questions, which is what synergies and partnerships are of greatest interest right now? Anyone wants to answer? So what synergies
Marta, do you
and
want to start?
are of greatest interest right now?
I can start. So I think partnerships are key. They are very important in developing digital therapeutics. We in our case, we realize we are a pharma company and we will continue to be a pharma company. So I think when you showed them up at the beginning, we would either choose one of the three top options, so sponsor, partner, or buy, most probably. I think the pharma company can bring, like really defining, scoping out what are the business needs, what are the scoping out the future requirements, what will be the commercialization strategy, training the sales force, applying the right marketing techniques. But when it comes to, for example, development, it might make sense to partner with a DTx company because sometimes, I mean, these DTx companies, they will have something built already that can be adapted for different indications or chronic conditions. So we don't need to build it from scratch. As well, these DTx companies can help with the clinical and regulatory parts. And as well, lastly, I would say like the reimbursement part. I think you really need the local expertise from the market that we want to launch, basically. So I think partnerships, definitely yes, and it's really a win-win for both. what model to choose. It will depend on what you're looking for and if that solution is available in the market or not. But yeah, Annabelle, what do you think?
Yeah, no, from my side, I think that, and I think that you talked about this before. As pharma industry at the moment, we need the complementary skill sets. So I think that this is one of the reasons that we are looking at the moment more for partnerships that maybe building by ourselves this kind of solutions. Okay, it doesn't make sense. And you said it before, it doesn't make sense to develop something that is already developed by someone. And innovation at the end is collaboration. For me, that's so clear. Also, it's important, of course, the alignment with core business strategy with the different therapeutics areas. And that's why we publish our challenges. What challenges we would like to solve with this kind of partnerships. This match is very important. If not, the partnership or the collaboration will not progress or will not arrive to any point in the future. So I think that for me, these are the two main parts maybe for doing this kind of partnerships and finding synergies. Okay, so the complementary skill sets and also the alignment with core business. And maybe if we think more in the strategy and what we are looking for, maybe it's platforms at the moment. Okay, it's not maybe looking for a DTx solution, but a platform that could be at the end used for different therapeutics areas and different indications, not only for one. This is something that maybe it's important at the moment also.
Yeah, I think it's something that also, yeah, the DTx company in general, building something like this so they can be adapted to other therapeutical areas, so they take advantage of it. Now, question from Andy Gronell, asking, currently, what type of DTx product is generating the most excitement internally? What do pharma want to see more of? I think it's going to, maybe we can keep the questions because I think therapeutical areas can be one of the differentiators. Technology would be another one, but let's keep it for maybe a bit later because we have another questions towards the therapeutical area that are most exciting. So maybe we can wait. But another question which I like a lot from Ale Greenpath. So Greenpath maybe is the company. I don't know if of the surname, I don't know. Sorry for that. But the question is, in financial numbers, what does pharma mainly expect from partnership with DTx? And then I think I like it a lot, how the granularity goes in. And it is, for example, increase revenue by selling more drugs, combo drugs plus DTx. Increase revenue by selling that DTx alone. Decrease marketing cost by doctor organically prescribing a more effective treatment. Or decrease R&D cost with real-world data generated from the DTx. I think he gave all the answer already, Ale.
Yeah.
I think that it is.
Well, I think that we are looking into these 4 options. Okay. For me, I would say that maybe now the pharma industry is more focused in the combo drug plus digital therapeutics, but this is a consequence of regulations in the different countries that in many countries there's not possible reimbursement. Okay, so this is the option that we have. Okay, to go on with digital therapeutics. Of course, I think that many of us, we are looking for obtaining revenue directly for the solution, and having it as a standalone and as a new digital business model. But I don't know if we are in this moment right now. Okay, maybe in the short term, because of the velocity that this kind of solutions having, but maybe if we think in regulation, it will not be as faster as I would like to be, right? But I think that, yes, we are working in our case in the 4 cases. But depending on the market, for example, we are choosing the combo drug in digital therapeutics or the standalone solution. Maybe, for example, in markets like US, it's possible this a standalone and getting revenue for the solution. But in Europe, in Germany, yes, but for example, in Spain, it's not possible at the moment.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think to this, there are other ways to monetize that is not reimbursement, as we said. So there are other like reasons on why we as pharma decide to invest on digital health solutions. So it can also serve, you know, as a way to differentiate, to open up new channels, new markets. I think that's an important one that, for example, we've seen it's working for us pretty well, I would say. So I think it really depends on the case, but there are quite a lot of benefits for the pharma company in launching digital health or digital therapeutics. So it will depend.
I think it's important. We always sometimes misuse DTx, digital therapeutics, with digital health solutions, which have not been clinically validated and had a regulatory approval. But many times, pharmaceutical companies, or from my experience, they start by getting, you know, or partnering with some companies which are not maybe a DTx yet, but the idea is that on the medium term, then become one, you know. So that's a bit of the path, right? Okay, maybe we can go to the next question. What therapeutical areas have the greatest short-term potential? That is an easy one, you know. I think Annabelle, you can start because yours is definitely. I mean, your company is really definitely pushed a lot for diabetes and so on. So I think it's maybe an easy answer though.
Well, I don't know if the and sorry for that, Luca. I don't know if the question is fully right. Okay, I mean, because what therapeutic areas? Well, I don't know. I can explain, for example, which therapeutic areas has more solutions now developed, okay, and maybe they are more advanced in this kind of solutions. For example, like I don't know, neurology, psychiatry, mental health, and things like that. I think that these kind of therapeutic areas were the first solutions that were being developed, and maybe they are more advanced. But we are thinking in the pharma industry, I think that what is very important is the match, okay, of what I said to you, the challenges, okay, and what the partner is doing, okay. So this short-term potential for me is not exactly related to the to therapeutic areas, okay, but more related to that the partnership is. That both the company and the pharma industry really match in what they are looking for. Like, for example, in one of the examples that you shared before, like our partnership with One Drop, that is not only diabetes, but also extended to cardio, okay? So we don't have diabetes as therapeutic area, but yes, cardiovascular diseases and many people with diabetes are affected by cardiovascular diseases. So this is the match in this case, for example, right? I don't know if I explained very well myself what I would like to say, okay? And maybe I misunderstood the question. Luca, let me know if this is the case.
It's okay. It's okay. Everyone has his own answer. Marta, maybe you want to also share your point of view here?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what we are seeing is that perhaps these therapeutic areas that have like some behavioral component or lifestyle component are the ones that we're seeing more solutions, like diabetes, for example. I think that makes sense because of the nature. I guess the other type of conditions that we could see DTx coming is those that there is no pharmacological treatment available. I think that would make sense as well. And then, as Annabelle was saying, we're seeing a lot of DTx in the area of mental health using CBT techniques or similar. In the end, I think these kind of tools can be used in most of the chronic conditions, like can be oncology, pain management, or others, because in the end, there's always going to be this mental health component. So I would say these three areas. So mental health, conditions that have some lifestyle, behavioral component, and maybe the ones that if there's no treatment available, pharmacological treatment, maybe with technology, those can be treated. So.
Okay, that's good. Thanks, Marta. And I think also answer the question of Andy Gronell saying, currently, what type of DTx product is generating the most excitement internally? What do pharma want to see more of? And I think this is a low-hanging fruit for these top, for the cardio, for example, for bio and so on. Yeah, Marta, please.
Yeah, but also I guess this is what Annabelle was trying to say, no? In the end, each pharma company will have the therapeutic areas of focus. So it kind of needs to be between those lines.
Yeah, I agree. And then maybe we go to the next question, the last one. We're almost there, Marta and Annabelle. So what are the most important skills in the people of your team to work in a successful DTx, or at least in a collaboration with the DTx?
Well, I have different ones. Let me say.
Go ahead.
First of all, I think it's very important, the mindset, that you have to be patient-centric, but also loves the problem and not the solution. It's very important in this kind of solutions to be very focused in the patient, the problems that this person has, and how you could help to solve these problems with the solution. Okay, technology for me, of course, is very important, but it's as an enabler. And sometimes I see people blind with the technology and fancy things and cool things, and sometimes easier things could give more value to the patients that another more complex solution, right? Another topic is the technical and regulatory expertise, and we talked about this before. For example, if we are talking about technical, I think that software development, big data, analytics, advanced analytical skills, and something like this, okay, are very important for us. And related to mindset, sorry, I forgot to say that, of course, agility is another topic, okay, working agile. We have started to work with Scrum, for example, and yeah, this is a really mindset change in the company. And also be that people that used to work in cross-functional teams, okay? Because for this kind of solutions, it's very important that commercial, medical, and product development work together in the same team. Related to technical skills, I mentioned it before. I would say that this is my personal opinion, okay? I think that as digital therapeutics products grow in the pharma industry, in their portfolios, maybe we will see a shift from partnerships to insourcing, okay? So then technical skills will be definitively more relevant even than now.
Marta.
Yeah, I think Annabelle has covered pretty much everything. I would just say perhaps creative thinking. we find that creating digital tools within pharma, which is heavily regulated, is not easy. So I think thinking creatively on how you can get to the objective whilst being compliant with everything that we need to be compliant, it's also a skill that needs to be having. And then I think also this mix of profiles that have this science and tech profile, it's also quite helpful. But I think basically Annabelle has covered everything. So customer focus, problem solving, and this cross-functional, I think it's very important, because digital will work with a lot of departments, so needs to be good project manager and communicator and facilitator between different teams. So
sorry, I wasn't muted myself. Sorry about that. I think one of the things that I think was Jonas, the US CEO for Kaya Health, during our last program, has explained that one of the profiles that are looked for and they struggle to find are data scientists, because the more this company grow, the more data they gain, and the more they need to analyze this data and give value to the to their customers. It could be pharma or it could be directly doctors. So I think that's also some hard skills and the profile that will be important to be to be studied and to have maybe in your team soon. Now there's one other question. One is related, then Kwafu, I reply in a second. Are you applying human-centered design methodologies like design thinking for creating the DTx product? I can answer that this is what is used in this type of companies. In our, I don't want to do advertisement, but in our program, there's one of the things that one of the chapters is explained. Yes, this is definitely one of the things that we need to apply and we need to go through. This is definitely human-centered design is one of them, where we put the patients, but not just the patient, the doctor, the payers in the center, and we need to have a clear value proposition for each of them, and that's how a DTx should be successful, right? By having a clear DTx, a clear value proposition for each of them, and they cover all of them. This is how we really make the difference when building a DTx. I'm not sure if you want to add anything, Annabelle or Marta.
Yeah, I think that's right. We need to try to get as closer to users and patients as possible to really understand how they behave and their needs, and really build something that makes sense for them.
Yeah, I would add that we even are using these kind of methodologies in other processes, not only with digital health. Okay, we try to introduce innovation methodologies for other kind of projects, not only digital health, for example. So yeah, it's really important for us.
Yeah. And then I think Victoria is asking very important questions, and I think Marta before I tapped down and said what are what we struggle with and the most, and is adoption, not just adoption for patients. This might be engagement of the solution, but rather it's the adoption from the doctor. So she asks, how do doctors see these therapies? At the end of the day, they will need to be the prescribers of the DTx, and bracket says, and compete with the time they have to prescribe drugs. Yeah, this is a challenge. I think this, from I can start maybe by experience. I see that they see that younger generations are more open to this type of solution, and they see that it can be successful. Some maybe old generation, they struggle the most, and I know I agree with you when it says and compete with the time they have to prescribe drugs. So maybe they have just a few minutes, if that's what you mean. And I understand that there's a challenge there, and I think DTx should work on that. to the companies, I mean, to market it properly. And I think that it is. More things, more questions. What shall potential health pharma tech startups target to successfully implement DTx from artificial intelligence point of view? Marta or Annabelle? What shall potential health pharma tech startups target to successfully implement DTx from artificial intelligence point of view?
Not sure if I understand correctly the question. If I don't know if he's referring about what is the focus that they have to have just to be successful. I don't know if it is the question. If it is,
yes.
Yeah, I would say that the important thing is to be very focused in data. Okay, the data lake that they will build. Okay, how they will integrate. What will be the sources of data they will need, and how they will integrate them to take the most with artificial intelligence of this data. I think that this is the most important thing from my point of view, and with my limited knowledge of artificial intelligence and data, I have to say. So.
Okay, that's perfect. And I think the last one, I will leave the last questions from Pablo, asking how are these business units involved in partnership with pharma? I think Marta mentioned selling DTx is not like selling drugs, which is totally true. And so I'm wondering how are business units heads, sales teams involved in partnerships that will impact their day-to-day.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. I think in our case, when we have done partnerships with external companies, it has been more on the development of the solution, or it would be more on the development of the solution. But really, the digital team within the pharma is working cross-functionally, so it will work with the sales teams, with the country managers to really go down and go actually in the field to really understand how these tools need to be marketed in practice. So I wouldn't say that the external partner is in contact with the sales team, but we as a digital team are. Does that make sense?
All right. Thank you, Marta and Annabelle. Can you put back the presentation, Armando? Just a second. It's our selling moment. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying that what is clear, we have our Digital Therapeutic Excellence program coming up in November. So anybody who wants to learn the 6 building blocks models, which is from zero really to the stakeholders to building the product and put into market after clinical validation and so on, then this is what we go through during this 3 weeks online program. It's the 4th edition, so it seems that it's gaining, it's growing and growing, so it's gaining, let's say, traction. So I invite you, if you want to have more information, you feel free to speak with us. And that's it. I'm over with that. And then I would just to say thank you to everyone for being here, to Marta and Annabelle for sharing your experience. Everybody's still a very beginning with this, with the therapeutics and the partnership with the DTx startups. But here we are to learn, all of us. And just one last thing, and it's from Kwaku, who asks, please, how do some of us get internships in DTx to get an experience? So Marta and Annabelle, you have somebody who wants to join your team.
No. Yeah, go ahead, Marta, sorry.
No, I was just saying that we do have every so often open roles in the team. So yeah, I mean, that's a team that for us is growing. We are still a small team, but I hope we can grow. Yeah.
Yeah, in our case, I will forward you to the career webpage that Bayer has, because in Germany they are looking for this kind of profiles. So I think that yeah, it's not the case of Spain at the moment, but yes, for Germany.
That's cool. Okay, thanks a lot again for sharing your knowledge, and everybody for participating. I'll see you all next month. We have already one speech coming up, so another talk coming up with the trends and insights for 2023. So I invite you all already. You'll receive anyway an email from us. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.